It's streaming now.
It is? Great.
Yes.
Well, that was easy.
I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Town of Star Valley Ranch regular town council meeting. It is Tuesday, May the 13th at exactly 7 p.m. We do have all council members in attendance, and let the record show that we also have Town Administrator Aiken, Town Treasurer Mason, and Town Clerk in attendance. If I could ask everyone to please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item on the agenda is to reconvene the regular meeting. May I have a motion to reconvene? I will move that we reconvene. May I have a second, please?
Second.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Toolson, seconded by Councilman Bitter. All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none opposed. At this point, we need to adopt the agenda.
The consent agenda, board members, two board members. And Hutchins and Keith Jackson.
Okay. I have a motion from Councilman Merrill to amend the agenda to add two appointments to the roads board to item 7B, Mr. Hutchins Jackson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Councilman Merrill and seconded by Councilman Ellis. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The amended agenda is adopted. Right. Moving on, we'll start with the fun stuff first. So, this evening on the agenda, we have former Mayor Kathy Myers here, and we have a proclamation we'd like to read for her, and then also a couple of other little things. Can I, Mayor Myers, former Mayor Myers, So this is a proclamation, Mayor Myers, a proclamation of gratitude, whereas the town of Star Valley Ranch wishes to acknowledge, recognize, and express appreciation to Mayor Kathy Myers for outstanding and dedicated service as a member of the town of Star Valley Ranch Town Council from January 2015 to February 2025. Whereas the town of Star Valley Ranch wishes to acknowledge, recognize, and express appreciation to Mayor Kathy Myers for her unwavering dedication and commitment during her time on town council. Whereas the town of Star Valley Ranch has been greatly benefited from the background, institutional knowledge, and community spirit shared by Mayor Kathy Myers. Whereas the town of Star Valley Ranch wishes to thank Mayor Kathy Myers for her work at town hall and her dedication to making major water infrastructure projects forward. Now, therefore, I, Richard Rock, Mayor of the town of Star Valley Ranch, Wyoming, do hereby proclaim the town's sincere and honest gratitude to Mayor Kathy Myers for all her services rendered. And witness whereof I hereby set my hand this 13th day of May, 2025. I really would just like to thank, first of all, the residents of Starville Ranch. They supported me for 12 years, 2 years on the council and 2 years later. And trusted me, and that was really important. So I want to thank all of them. I think the next thing is to really recognize our volunteers. We have a lot of volunteers in our town, and they make my job so much easier. Because they took up a lot of slack and don't have a huge budget. And so they were able to step in and do our projects in town. So they really volunteers. Next, I would say the town council. You cannot have these. And I think it's so important for people to recognize that everything does. And especially for stepping in. I appreciate that. So I can go be a grandma. And the last thing really is the staff. I think it's important to recognize that they are glue that will sit down together. And we'll tell you. And I just think it's important. So, thank you very much. Very from the town council. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. It says Honorable Captain Byers, thank you for your dedication to the town of Starville Ranch Mayor and
Well, Kathy, we presented you with this, some photos of past here, but she has always supported the Natural Resource Board and the trails. And Craig Adler, who's a big trail person, he wasn't able to be here. He's up in Alpine, dealing with the Forest Service, trying to get some stuff done here. But he said, pass along Trail Crew's thanks for your support for all the years. And you have been a strong supporter.
that was my first term. That was my first term.
Anyway,
That's awesome.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. My goodness. All right, so we're moving on to item 6 on the agenda, which is public comments. So this section of the agenda is reserved for public comment on items that are not already included in the agenda or on the agenda. Comments are only 3 minutes. If anyone does have any comments, please come up to the podium, say your name, and we'll hear what you have to say. All right, we'll have to move right along. All right. So the next item on the agenda is to adopt the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have approval of the minutes of the April 8th Town Council work session, the April 8th Town Council regular meeting, the April 23rd Town Council work session. We have the community board appointments, which Mr. Jackson has for the right board, disbursement of special municipal officer reports, county sheriff dispatch reports. Are there any questions from the council or comments from the public on items of the consent agenda? Otherwise, I would like to ask for a motion to approve, or I'm sorry, adopt the consent agenda.
I'm motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Motion by Councilman Bitter, a second, please. Second by Councilman Merrill. It's been moved by Councilman Bitter, seconded by Councilman Merrill. All in favor? Aye. And none opposed? All right, moving on to item 8 on the agenda, ordinances. We have prior ordinances and then one new one. The first one is third reading of Title III, Chapter 33, Town Organizations. And before we do that, may I have a motion to read the ordinances by title and explanation?
I move we read the ordinances by title and explanation.
Get a second. Then moved by Councilman Ellis and seconded by Councilman Tools. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Right, so now moving on to that ordinance. Councilman Johnson, would you like to read that ordinance? Ordinance 2025-03, Title III, Chapter 33, Town Organizations. The third reading, everybody know. That is the second reading. Adding, and second number, town. Approve the third reading. It's been moved by Councilman Tolson to approve the third reading of ordinance 2025-03. Moved by Councilman Tolson, seconded by Councilman Merrill. Any questions from the public on this ordinance? Straightforward. Any questions from the council or discussion? All right. All in favor? Aye. And opposed? The ordinance is approved. On to next ordinance 2025-04.
Ordinance 2025-04, Title 15, Land Usage, Chapter 154, Zoning. This is an update to existing code, update language regarding solar power systems and other utilities. There's been one minor change to this ordinance. And anyway, it basically comes down to required to connect that system to pay the necessary fees. I move we adopt the ordinance 2025-04, Title 15, Land Usage, Chapter 154.
Moved by Councilman Ellis. Get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Merrill. Any questions from the public on this ordinance?
My question is on number 2. It says no system or solar coordination shall cause undue hardships on the legislative property owners. My question is on this wording, undue hardships on the lives of adjacent property owners. That's very vague. A hardship is a condition that is difficult or impossible to endure. It causes suffering, deprivation, or oppression. The word hardship says, well, that's the explanation. Yeah, that's what it is. So it's undue. What's an undue hardship? It's vague. I mean, what are they talking about? Is it because this is something I was talking to my husband. I said, are they talking about, say someone doesn't want to put their solar system on top of their roof because it's 3 stories up, and it costs more to do it that way, so he decides to put it on stands out in the backyards all over panels. And what I just don't understand what the hardship on the neighbors would be. Or if you use poles, last month I asked about the poles and height. There's nothing in here about heights. And so a hardship, I guess, could be you can't afford to plant trees to walk all that out. So what's an undue hardship on the adjacent property owners? It's vague language, and I think we need to be specific because it's a big town now, and I have no objection to solar systems, but when you make an ordinance, you need to be really specific with your language, so it doesn't end up in an argument between the neighbors or over what they consider an undue hardship. but a hardship relates more to financial than it does to constructive. So, if you, I know this is a second reading, you really need to look at that language, maybe expand it or explain it. And I'd like you to consider the heights and the goals and the other ones. And let me just, I don't know. But if you look at the solar systems online, there are some, like solar farms, they're not up high, they're all up low. And so, what if you maybe wants to be a little solar farm? Is that correct?
Okay, well, I did comments during our work session.
Oh, okay.
I really read exactly the same things that some of the council members were looking at today.
Oh.
And so.
Good.
Any other comments or questions from the public?
I'd just be curious if she knows a different word to use instead of undue hardship. You don't either?
Well, you know what, I looked at the words today.
I know.
In the dictionary, and I thought, okay, what else? But a hardship has specific meanings, and when it's legally interpreted rather,
Well, if you come up with a good term that we could use, let us know.
I'll be
Okay?
thinking, okay, yeah. Okay, might be more than just one word. Okay.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Second reading was, first the motion was second from Alice, and second by Mr. Third. No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed, the second reading passes. All right, moving on to item B8, which is ordinance 2025-05, which is our appropriations for fiscal year 2025-26. Better walk us through this one.
Yeah, so if you received a copy, it's important because you probably won't be able to see the numbers that we're going to refer to up here. But in this, the second reading, anything that's changed, you'll see a change column out there. So you can clearly see what changed and by how much. And a lot of them are immaterial numbers, and we just did some updates for what we saw in the month of March. But we won't do that in April. So I'm going to just focus on the key things, the key changes that are in the budget. The first one that's material is the sales and use tax. That's kind of right in the middle of that page. You'll see it in red. The state forecast data that we received identified Lincoln County as being down a projected 8% this coming year. Whether that's going to be right or not, nobody knows. But right now, we're using that data that's coming from the state, and we're reducing the sales and use tax income applicably. We'll continue to discuss it as a council and decide whether or not we think that's too aggressive and should move it back up a little bit. The other one is interest income. That's just, right there. We've lowered it from $136,000 down to $98,000. The reason for that is because we're using a lot of our reserves for capital projects, and so the reserves are going to drop, and that means less interest, but then again, interest rates have been coming down, so we're going to see less interest earned on our reserves as well. So those two aspects, and that's about $38,000. So total general fund revenue, down at the bottom, the rest of them are, like I said, mostly immaterial, is about a $205,000 reduction in income in general fund. If we flip to the next page, the expenses for general fund, we came in before on the first reading at just under 2.2 million. We're just now barely over 2.2, and we had some increases in a couple of areas. Public safety went up $21,000, and some minimal or immaterial amounts in some of the other ones. So we also updated the municipal court contract to $1,000 a month. And so generally speaking then, $34,000 of increase in cost. So you take those two combinations, the revenue coming down 205 and the cost going up 34,000, You can see it on the bottom. That leaves us with an excess in general fund of 614,000 projected. That's down from our first reading, which was 852. Just so everybody understands, we're projecting a lower excess, but still a solid amount of excess for next year. Okay. Now moving, and that excludes CapEx or capital expenditures. The next section, if we turn to it, it's the capital spending for general fund, and we've identified 4 projects that we've changed. The first one is we want to buy the lease buyout on our excavator, and that's going to be $55,000, and we put that in the second reading. The next one always is excitable for anybody in the ranch. It's the Vista pavement. We have pulled that out for the time being. There are multiple reasons for that, but one is, and we're going to continue to discuss, but one is the capacity of somebody to be able to do it. They're already booked out. So we're looking at the major part that needs to be done is the road base as well. So there's some things we're going to look at. Hopefully we can put it back in the next one, but we don't know yet. We're looking at multiple options for Vista payment. We want it as bad as all the town folks. We just want to be clear. There's not a single person that doesn't want Vista paid. Okay? So just we're going to look at all options that we can, and potentially we can reduce. We can get it, improve the price as well. And the last one is we did take out the covered bus stops that we were talking about. Most of them were going to be on private property, and that just wouldn't work. So we pulled those out. So the capital spend is from the first reading to the second reading, it's down $1.1 million because of the Vista pavement. But let's see what the third reading will show on that one. Cash, go to the next page, the top of it. General fund cash balances, we're projecting a $2.1 million general fund reserve at the end of this year, June. And now we're forecasting a budget for the end of next year's June of roughly the same amount. So we're projecting that there won't be a significant or material change in overall general fund cash balance reserves for the year. And so that's general fund. Water fund, I'll do the same thing very quickly. If we look at the revenue side, the big one is interest earned. I've already talked about the interest rates, how that's had an impact on us. And in this case, the larger impact is because we're going to be using a lot of our reserves on some of our CapEx or capital projects. And so that's going to be lowering the reserve balance, which means less interest earned. Other than that, there's just a couple of things that are in here, but there's literally no rate increases at this point in time in the second reading. It's just volume, or basically like the tap-in fees, just the volume of what we think the number of people that are going to be looking for tap-ins this year, and that'll go up and down. So total revenue, 1.8 million, just under 1.8. We had 1.8, a little over, so it was a $72,000 difference. On the expense side, on the water operating expenses for water fund, the big one is the water salaries and wages. We've seen a lot of attrition in the water group, and so we're looking at that and considering options and trying to reduce that attrition rate. And so we've put a little extra in there for the caliber of the people that are needed. And so that's the biggest change. Bottom line for revenue and expenses, I said the revenue was coming down 72,000, expenses going up 81,000. So there's a reduction of $154,000 from the first reading. But our excess is still 21,000. So we're not dipping into our reserves. This is all prior to CapEx. So CapEx is on the last page, and we made 2 changes. We put in a 4-inch line replacement, which is estimated at about $200,000, and water efficiency meters. We want to start being able to replace the older, inefficient meters that we have out there. So those two projects are going in. So our CapEx is actually going up from the first reading of 1.8 million to a little less than 2.1 million. But the big one is the authorizations. The authorizations would be for a Green Canyon water tank and the Prater Canyon delivery line, which will not all be spent this year, but it's a process. So we'll have better information for the third reading for those two, because we're looking at a bunch of options on those as well. So bottom line for cash balances, we have forecast 4.053 thousand for at the end of June, so a little over 4 million, or under 4.1 million. The budget now shows us dropping it half, down to just over $2 million. And we'll see if we can, what that'll be for the third reading, but we're forecasting to try to focus on getting our capital projects on water done. So total consolidated, you can see on the list at the very end, the total excess consolidated, we're still forecasting a $635,000 excess between general fund and water fund, and that's down almost $400,000 from the first reading as we've taken a look at additional capital projects for the most part. And CapEx is authorizations. We could, right now, we're targeting about just a little over $5 million for next year. And that is, and so the town total balance of reserves, we're forecasting a drop to a little over $4 million. So still in a good place, but just want to make sure that's clear to everyone. So with that, we'll do what we're going to go. Okay, any questions? Oh, yes, motion. Okay, so I motion that we approve the second reading of the appropriations budget for fiscal year 2026.
Motion from Councilman Bitter. Second from Councilman Chisholm. Any questions from the public on the budget? Well,
Mayor and council, there's only one thing that applies to being a judge. Is if you think you understand your job, you clearly haven't gotten the latest. I did not see anything in the budget for continuing education. I attended a conference of judges, just held in Casper. And I also attended the official meeting, part of the Wyoming City Bar Association. Was probably cost about $1,000. I'm going to go with the board now. But I would think that this would consider maybe future brothers allow us to take care of Thank you.
We do have some training budget. It's not just in the municipal player.
Okay, I didn't see that here.
yeah,
All right.
A little more detail behind some of the line items, but we'll make sure we can work with you on that.
All right. And I'm also, there are 3 municipal judges in Star Valley. 2 of them are me. So you only have to pay for half.
Right, so. Any other questions? Yes.
Should be an easy one. I'm Rand Bitter. On the general fund cash balance reserves. I just want to make sure that the general fund cash balance doesn't procure that already excludes the payments for the bridges.
Correct.
People have a surprise.
That's already pulled out.
Hi, Julie Christensen, 291 Holly. I just want to address a little bit more about the baby food stuff. As you mentioned, it's not first district that doesn't want that done. And I want that done. It is an interest to our town. Actually, it goes right past here. So I heard everything you said and agree with everything you said. I'm a very conservative budget person, so I like it. But my fear, and I wonder if there's a mechanism that we can get into place to stop this. If we keep saying that we took it out because there's no capacity to do it, like there's nobody to do the job, I think we're gonna keep having that same problem year after year after year, knowing or seeing what the objective of this valley and this county is. So I'm just asking, out of pure ignorance, nothing less, is there something that we can get into place now that says, can we reserve that so next summer we know that damn thing needs to be paid?
We did have a discussion about that in our work session this morning, and here to the point of so we're definitely going to take a hard look at that on our work session on the 8th of May. Any other comments on the budget? Any questions, comments? Vote all in favor? Aye. None opposed? Second reading of the budget passes. Moving on to new ordinances, item 8. Alice,
Ordinance 2025-06, Title 15, Land Usage, Chapter 150 Buildings. Explanation. It's a revision to the existing code to update building requirements in the 2021 additions to the International Building Code, International Residential Code, International Mechanical Code, International Plumbing Code, International Fuel Gas Code, International Fire Code, the International Existing Building Code as published by the International Code Council. I move we approve the first reading of ordinance 2025-06 and 15 land usage chapter 150 buildings.
by Councilor Ellis, second. Seconded by Councilor Merrill. Any questions from the public on this ordinance? This is bringing up those more up to date.
One thing with these ordinances, there's never a good problem statement. So why? And I know it's a push, I'm trying to make it all more important. This would potentially probably have a lot more expensive. Also, what is this effect? Increments after the final approval. What happens if something
The way that would work is that our building official would, whatever code he's expected to, if there was a permit extension, or would want to,
As the code currently reads, if you hold a permit now, you're under your own code. This one goes into effect 10 days after the third reading is approved. That will, if you're on the old one, and you remain working on that, do not complete that house within 3 years. When it is available, or is issued, then you would fall up to provide you with a permit.
structure is 90% complete or something. This is rather lengthy, I can find it.
In order to get your quarter, you have to have about 9 volumes. Vehicle.
Just what the effects of this, somebody. Besides the report. I'm quite sure about right now. See a lot of installation values in that. I think the whole more efficient.
with your comments and, Scott's doing a great job, our building official, and, works really well with residents and with, residents. So, specs and,
one, so. Any other comments on this?
So, my question is, I'm going right now, and we've got 2 years, so it's also an extension. Okay, so, I missed the part about septic, so the two is pretty out. So if we're pure septic now, we're yeah, yes. So we're fine, and as long as it's so if you need an extension, let's say for example, would you go to 21? Extension? Oh, right. Okay, well, then you have 3 years. That's
Yeah, so I don't want to give you wrong information, so I'm about to take that back.
not that I need an extension.
Right, no, it's just for everyone else.
Yeah.
I know we're trying to get sure that.
Just go to 3 years. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you all for your comments. Any other questions on this one? Any questions or discussion? Right, all in favor?
Aye.
Right, moving on to the agenda, we have no resolutions or motions tonight. Action items tonight, so we have item 11, which is mayor and council. Good idea to share with the council and the public.
No, not at this time. I didn't have fun.
Councilman Tolson.
Yeah, it's our wildlife, last community. So we're actually moving to the 21st century, for our city. And also want to announce that we're having another, this is summer, so the neighborhood watch is having another meeting May 27th at 7 p.m.
I have one item, so this past weekend, actually last Thursday, yesterday, Sunday, was our second annual announcement and activation. Had more participation than the first year. Public Works Director said, they collected 22 yellow bags filled with greens from around town. So we're gonna keep working on that. I appreciate everybody that went out and picked up trash this weekend. I know it's Sunday, today, but I think we can probably grow this one. Better. Next year. That's all I have. So for the spring cleanup, we posted flyers and we sent out emails on Facebook. I'm sure there's other things we could do to get more word out. Well, but we're always looking for ways to try and get more communication out. I think that there might have been a little confusion because in concert with that, we're also doing the fire lines pickup, which is good from us, and that's just for tree limbs and right. So, okay. All right, and with that, then, any other items from the council? We're gonna call this meeting adjourned. We're adjourned at 7:39. Thank you, everyone.
Start all over.
Yeah.